The Nathan Ivey Show is sponsored by UC Health. UC Health, Cincinnati's only academic health system.
It was the voice of a courageous explorer, a man dedicated to the pursuit of man's knowledge and the expansion of his horizons.
Good morning. Here is Nathan Ivey.
NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, closed fish, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, nope, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? John O. B. the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati red tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Back from my hiatus, politicking on the latest. Today is Friday, November 18th, 2016. Currently 7:11 a.m. in the Queen City. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Here's my number. Then we got to get to more important business. 513-873-7134. If you like to transform your brain waves into talk radio waves. Over the next few weeks, I'm working with some folks. They're going to help me update the audio. You may hear different intro ramps, exit ramps, things like that. I am keeping that intro, though. Shout out to Jono and Tunes. They killed it. Another fabulous tune. Will not abandon that. But always want to move forward with this project. Always. Never want to stay static. Before I get too deep, I've got to say and wish a very special and happy birthday to a member of the Chop Shop, and that is Tonika. She always holds me down. I appreciate you, Tonika. Good morning to you. She writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. I'm 39 today. God is great. Hashtag black don't crack. Really, 39? Never would have guessed it. Hashtag turn up. Hashtag celebrating all day. Absolutely. Happy birthday to you, Tonika. I wish you the best. Wow, you don't look 39 to me. She's right. Black don't crack. But good morning to you. Today, I want to talk about Bobbi Kristina and Whitney. Remember Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, their daughter, Bobbi Kristina? A judge recently ruled that her brother boyfriend, Nick Gordan, was civilly responsible, liable, culpable in her death. And I think he's got to pay out like $39 million. Now, I'm not sure if Nick Gordan has $39 million. That's a hell of a lot of reality television show series. But, you know, let's be real here about something. And some of you may not like this because you love Whitney Houston and you love Bobby Brown. Probably the folks who won't like what I have to say more like Whitney Houston, but that's Whitney's fault. That's Whitney and Bobby's fault. You ever watch that show, Whitney and Bobby, the reality show many years ago? That was like at the beginning of the whole reality show boom, right? And it was clear that Whitney Houston was on something. It was clear. I don't think the cameras ever actually showed her like injecting something or snorting something, anything like that. But it was clear. And little Bobbi Kristina was right there watching all of that. You know, if you're the child of two parents who drugged out all the time, nobody can be surprised if you grow up and you're drugged out all the time. So the environment that they created, in my opinion, led to the environment that Bobbi Kristina grew up in. And is anybody really surprised that, and again, very tragic, RIP, condolences, all that kind of stuff. But is anybody really surprised that Bobbi Kristina ended up leaving this world in the same way that her mother did? No. But now the judge has blamed Nick Gordan, her brother boyfriend. I know the world is happy now. They can exhale. It wasn't Whitney's fault. Yeah, it was. Come on now. I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm just kind of piecing this together from my position. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you find somebody who's cracked out, doped out, or whatever, and you talk with them and you find out that their parents was doped out, you're not going to be surprised by that. You're not going to be surprised by that at all, but we'll discuss that. 513-873-7134. I got to get something straight and off my chest. And it has everything to do with Donald Trump. I got to get it off my chest up front and
you're going to be
right
so
now.
Proud of your country if I get in. You're going to be so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of your country because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much. I love you, Albany. Get out and vote. You will be so happy.
That was 2015 in Albany. Donald Trump. He's a hell of a thinker. He says you're going to win so much that people are going to say, please, Mr. President, I don't want to win anymore. We're winning too much. Really? People went for that. That's a winning flow. He says we're going to win in the military. Now, I don't know what does that mean? We're going to win in the military. What does that mean? We're going to win in healthcare. You mean a single payer system? Because that's what winning for the people would mean. Where the government comes in, we kick out the big insurance companies, and the government regulates the prices for the people. That would be winning. Is that what he means? We're going to win in infrastructure, and that's what I want to speak of. You know, I was talking with some folks just last night, and I'm glad to hear and glad to know, in fact, I already know it because of the choppers, that there's a lot of smart and intelligent people outside of the world that we have created here. I'm talking with a brother last night, and he's like, Nate, I don't see how people are going for Donald Trump. And during our conversation, I realized this man, he can think. So now everybody's running around and watching Fox News, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're excited to hear about Donald Trump's infrastructure plan, $1 trillion infrastructure plan, $1 trillion infrastructure plan. Oh, it's going to be great. He's going to rebuild the infrastructure of America using Americans. It's going to be great. Pump your brakes. Do you remember the $478 billion infrastructure plan that was blocked by the GOP, by the Republicans in the Senate? Remember that? Same plan. It was deficit neutral. The plan would pay for itself using some tax breaks to several industries. And the Republicans said, no, sir. Your current president, Barack Obama, I'm here to keep it real with you. He might not have been perfect. But don't let these cats rewrite history like, oh, he didn't get anything done. Wait a minute. Wait. He would have been able to accomplish more if two things had happened. Number one, if people would have got their ass out in the midterms and voted a Congress that was open into the idea of working with the first black president. And secondly, if that Congress would have been open to working with the first black president. I mean, they all but shut down most of governmental spending. They don't believe in the government spending money, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you got millions of people out there who have been convinced to vote against their own best interest. And they're just too naive or asleep or drunk or caught up with patriotism and racism, sexism, whatever it is, to really understand it. The Republicans have been running around for years talking about balance the budget. I don't give a damn about the government's budget being balanced. It's not supposed to be balanced per se. The government has a role. It's supposed to spend money for the people. How do you think we get our roads fixed? They're supposed to provide these services. The government, hey, guess what? It can provide jobs. Good jobs, too. And so when you got, the Republicans in Congress that don't believe in infrastructure spending, that's the reason why Obama wasn't able to complete his plan. He came to Ohio. He stood in front of the Brent Spence Bridge on the Ohio side. And he said, listen, I have a infrastructure plan. Remember this? I want to put Americans to work on America. And the Republicans said, nah, we don't want you to win, basically. And they took it out on the American people. I've been telling you this for years. The Republican Party, the national level, they don't give a damn whether you work or not. They don't care. They don't care if you have a job to feed your children. They don't really care if you have unemployment benefits. They didn't really care about the deficit ceiling. Care about that. All they cared about was stopping Barack Obama. So now you got President-elect Trump, and he's talking about a $1 trillion infrastructure plan. I'd like to see it. I want to see it. I want to see if the same Republicans, right, in Congress that wouldn't budge at all for the betterment of their constituents, for you and I, because it benefited them politically to stand up to the great socialist. He's a socialist. What does that mean exactly? The government is supposed to spend money, but a lot of people are just so naive. The federal government's budget does not work the way your household budget does, and it's never supposed to. You're supposed to balance a checkbook. You sound like a damn fool. That's what they're supposed to do. Who do you think pays for firefighters, police officers? Right. I mean, there's some areas in which it's okay for the government to spend, on police and firefighters. Other than that, well, we want to hold the money. I mean, right now, the governor of Ohio was holding on $1 billion in some kind of rainy day fund. Well, damn it, it's raining. It's raining. How is that more important than putting Americans back to work or to work? OK, so I'm here to keep it real with you. I'm going to keep it real with you. So we shall see if the Republicans are going to sign off. We'll see if the media is going to refer to Donald Trump as a socialist like they did Barack Obama. I'm watching, I don't know, some clips from MSNBC, and they had one of their analysts, and he's like, well, nobody the Trump campaign is being the Trump administration is being criticized far more than Obama was with his picks. No, the hell they weren't. No, they're not. Before Barack Obama had even nominated anyone. I mean, he hadn't even got a chance to walk out onto the stage. Mitch McConnell said, our job is to make him a one-term president. They didn't know anything about the man. They had no idea what his plans were other than the campaign promises. They had no idea who was going to be in his cabinet. They had no idea. And they said, we want to make him a one-term president. Now you have the media that's trying to rewrite the history. Oh, no, you won't. Not while I'm here. Not with my audience. Not here in the chop shop. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it absolutely real all the time. It makes no sense. And yeah, people should be criticizing Donald Trump's ability to amass a team, because whoever's doing his hair is not doing a good job. Whoever wrote Melania's speech didn't do a good job. And before you say, well, he won the campaign. Yeah, I don't know how much basketball you watch or sports, but if you watch a lot of it, let's say basketball, sometimes teams win and sometimes teams throw away games. The Democrats threw away that election, quite honestly. Hillary Clinton, she did as much to lose that election as Donald Trump did to win it, quite honestly. So stop me with that. And now these fools are running around talking about a mandate. He's got a mandate. How do you have a mandate when you didn't even win the popular vote by a million plus votes? But that's a mandate? I'm telling you, they want to rewrite the rules of common sense. But enough of me. I see we have a call on the line. You can dial into the show at 513-873-7134. Caller, good morning to you, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati. Stop being a hater this morning of Donald Trump. Let's face up to it. He trumped the Republicans. He trumped you. He trumped the Democrats. And now he's laughing his way into the White House. I told everybody, when that election was so close, I said, anything can happen. You know, don't count the apprentice guru out. You can't take the genie out of the bottle and think he's going to go back. Well, he's not going back. And you're going to have to deal with him possibly for the next 8 years. And he's still trumping everybody. I love how the media, you can't put this person in. You can't put that. Trump is doing the opposite of what everybody is thinking. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't vote for him. I don't care about him. I think he's a whack job. But he is making everybody look bad. And he's kind of living up to what he said he was going to do. Your comments.
So we elected a clown, and you're giving him props because he's juggling in front of the crowd.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not giving him prompts. I'm just, everything as I indicated, everything he said he was going to do, he's doing so far. Let's let it play all out. It's still early. He's not even officially.
Wait. The Republicans didn't let it play out with Barack Obama the night that he won the election. That very night. He hadn't done he hadn't even looked at the White House yet. And they said, our job is to make him a one-term president, period. They didn't say our job is to try to check him where we can and work with him where we can, which you would expect from a politician. They said, no. Our job is to make him a one-term president. But now we're supposed to give Donald Trump a chance?
I do agree with you. They wanted to make Barack Obama the one-term president and let him enjoy his little marriage. But once he got in there, they were going to show him, you're not getting things done. It's not going to be business as usual as you think it's going to be. And he couldn't get nothing done. But let's be honest about that. The Democrats did not control the Congress and the Senate under Barack Obama. So officially, you can see he wasn't going to.
And that's because people like you didn't vote in the elections.
And you must also see that, let me tell you how the two most important Republicans in my lifetime in 50 years, and I'm going to give it to you, you're hearing it from John from Princeton first, is Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Now, you may say, what are you talking about? They're Democrats. No, they're not. It's a smokescreen. I keep telling you over and over. You can't tell the difference between a Democrat and Republican. They may sell you a bill of goods under that title.
Wait. No, that's not true, John. There's a lot of huge differences. Generally speaking, most Democrats are for a woman's right to choose. Generally speaking, most Republicans are pro-life. Generally speaking, Democrats, in terms of infrastructure speaking or spending, are willing to spend the government's money to get Americans back to work. Generally speaking, over the last 8 years on a national level, Republicans are not. So there's some huge differences between them.
Once again, the smoke screen that they sell you people on both parties, it's all about keeping the status quo, the power, keeping the power. And if you look at what Barack had done for 8 years, and a lot of you so-called hypocrites over 8 years that told me, John, shut up, you don't vote, you can't say nothing, what are you talking about? Well, Barack Obama was like a con artist. He sold you a bill of goods, and you all bought into it, and now I hear the screams across the country, Barack Obama, he didn't do nothing. Well, where the hell have you been at for 8 years, people? Did I tell you before he became president? You're going to see Barack Obama for what he is. And now I'm hearing the outcry from the average person that voted for him that, I'm disappointed with him. He didn't do what we wanted to do. What the hell do you think he was going to do? First term.
I don't know who you're speaking of. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he's a politician, and that if you voted for him in the primary election and you didn't step out in the midterm election, you set the man up to failure. You, by the way, didn't vote at all. So you are a hypocrite because you want to criticize the system, but you don't want to try to change the system other than lip service. And that ain't enough, brother.
Let me give you another example.
Oh, do you really have to?
Remember I told you that first term, that first 4 years that Barack Obama was in, he had a secret meeting. Now, here we go. History repeats itself. President Roosevelt did the same thing. He had a secret meeting with elite blacks. And one of those blacks stood up and said, what are you going to do for the black issues? Because black people back then, 50 years ago, voted for Roosevelt, put Roosevelt in office. Now, here we go. Barack Obama, he had a secret, quiet meeting, and Al Sharpton sat on that meeting. He probably won't tell you. But Al Sharpton sat on that meeting. And one African-American in that back of that meeting said, what are you going to do about reparation? And Barack Obama looked at him and said, make me deal with it. Well, what he was doing was saying, you go back to your constituents and you and make me deal with it. Well, 8 years went by and nobody made him deal with reparation or the black issue. So I said to people, 4 years, if you don't get anything from Barack Obama that first 4 years, you're not getting nothing. You blew your opportunity. And here lies the problem with the black community.
Oh, it's the black community's fault now because you didn't vote. That is rich. We keep recycling these rats in the office that are just selling it down the drain. And there lies the problem with the Democrat and the Republican Party. No.
You can't see no difference between both.
The problem is with smart dumb cats like you, John, who see problems with the system, but just sit out. That's what the problem is, John, period. Point blank. Until you get out there and start interacting and trying to change the system, you can't talk about it, period. You are a hypocrite, brother, period.
I changed the system in my own little way. Go to purehistory.org and you will see what John Trump
Man, you ain't changing no damn history with that. You ain't changing no history. I'm not saying you're not trying to get out there and add to the culture. That's adding to the culture. I'm talking about challenging the political system. That's a whole different thing, John. Get out there and vote, man.
I changed the political system in my own little way.
You're not I'm talking about the U.S. electoral system, man. Politicians, Congress, president, your local representatives. I'm not talking about fantasy football.
Well, let's look at the U.S. electoral system, which you people, gracefully voted for. And I hear the outcry, and the heads are down, and the sat in tears that Hillary's not in there. As you indicated, Hillary and the Democrats blew it, and they blew it big time. So, they have to change. Well, you can change if you want. It doesn't really matter. Republican, Democrats, they're all under the same cloak and dagger, selling you down the drain to foreign interests.
Okay. All right, John, thank you for that. Appreciate it, brother.
Have a nice day and have a good weekend.
He says, have a nice day. Then he says, have a nice day and have a great weekend. That guy. What else should I say? I'm not sure where we go from here. How about to a break? Good morning, choppers. Woo! That man. Him and Black Lion. Numerous things to discuss, including the possible future for Aftad Porval. Recently elected to be the clerk of courts here in Hamilton County, but maybe he has his eyes set on a larger prize. We'll discuss. And how is it not the fault of the officials at the Cincinnati Zoo that a young child fell into the gorilla pit? I'll give you the latest, the details. Feds have weighed in. They're sharing their opinion. I'll share mine. If you'd like to share your opinion, 513-873-7134. Don't forget, at 8 a.m. in approximately 30 minutes, I'm scheduled to be joined by Sandra from SOAC. She'll be taking your questions, maybe your comments. Listen, aging well. If you got an older American in your life, and perhaps they are in need of some resources, well, then stick around. It's 8 a.m. SOAC, Sandra. I'm Nathan Ivey. This is The Nathan Ivey Show.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
Yeah, hi. I think I found your kid's stuffed animal near the swing set. Just want to call. I'm sure she misses it.
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. The toy was a little muddy, so I cleaned it up, and it's good to go whenever you're around.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger and give all of our kids the meals they need to grow. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the
Today
Ad
we
Council.
decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds. I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to Understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by Understood.org.
More resourceful. Back to the show.
Hey guys, I'm Yaug, and recently I found out that my wife's been cheating on me. Yep, great, right? I caught her meeting a guy only a few blocks from my home, and I got it on video. Here's the video. All right, so we're going to pick this up right here. She leaves our home, and she's going to end up walking all the way down here and around to the CVS parking lot up there. I'm going to fast forward it, even though it's in fast motion. Otherwise, we'll just be here forever. It'll be a long, boring video. Right here, she's walking this way. Usually she walks this way to go to work over here. So when I first saw this, I knew something was up, and I started to get a little bit upset. And sure enough, she was going to meet this sucker. And here she is waiting at the intersection, waiting at the light for what it seems like forever. And here she is taking her hair out. She's got to make herself look pretty. Got to make yourself look pretty for the guy you're about to cheat on your husband with, right?
Well, looking good is important.
Make sure your hair is all nice. She's brushing her hair. I don't even know what she's doing. She's making her hair. She's pulling her hair out, making sure it looks all nice for this sucker. Now she walks across the street, and this guy is hiding behind the CVS. And as soon as she gets here, he's going to come out. So I'm assuming she's on the phone with him. That's the only thing I can assume. Because watch, here he comes. There he is. There's the guy that my wife is cheating on me with. My wife of 18 years. And watch, if you watch carefully, you're going to be able to see 18 years go right down the fucking drain. Watch. If you're not paying attention, you might miss it. Here it comes. There it goes. Boom. 18 years. Gone. 18 years. Gone. 18 years and you just throw it away like that. We had a good marriage. I thought we had a good marriage. Apparently not. 18 years. Well, you.
Oh, man. Life is... Listen, when life deals you lemons, you've got to make it into lemonade. Good morning, welcome back. The Nathan Ivey Show is sponsored by UC Health. UC Health, Cincinnati's only academic health system. And again, coming up at 8 a.m. this morning, Miss Sandra will be on the show to talk about SOAC. They may be able to help you. Keep them in mind for the near future. Looking forward to that conversation. 18 years! That's hilarious. I've got a different sense of humor, I know. I admit it. Who is your Gilligan of the week? You got my nomination. That guy. Men, fellas, never go out like that. Ever, never, never. More Gilligans are all these people running around talking about The media is criticizing Donald Trump more than they ever did Barack Obama. Please. Remember Reverend Jeremiah Wright? Remember this? Fox News had a field day, and then the mainstream press picked up on it. He's a black nationalist, pan-nationalist. I'm like, wait a minute. Just because he attended somebody's church doesn't mean that Barack Obama vouches for everything the Reverend Jeremiah said. I mean, Jeremiah Wright said. I mean, come on. Remember that? And he wasn't even a member of Barack Obama's cabinet. He held no official position whatsoever. But the media, and I'm not just talking about the conservative media, the media did a full court press on his, who is this guy? He's saying, damn America. And while there are a lot of people, nobody really in the conservative media side, like Fox News, they're silent on this. I was watching one of my favorite shows to watch on Fox. It's called Outnumbered. They take 5 beautiful women in skirts and they have conversations. It's like one guy and he's outnumbered, right? It's a great concept. And that's the reason why Fox is beating all those other cable networks in the ratings, is because they understand the power of a beautiful woman. They understand it. It's got an Instagram-esque feel to it. They mix that in with the politics. And the CNN and MSNBC, they're all there trying to talk about, all hoity-toity, talking about the issues. It's all about the issues. No, it's not. It's television. So be intelligenic. Eye candy matters. You talking MSNBC? They don't have no damn eye candy. You turn on CNN, they don't have no eye candy. Fox, eye candy. That's why they're winning in the ratings. Been saying it for years. They'll pick up on it one day when it's too late. But anyway, I'm watching Outnumbered, right? And they always have like one woman who is sort of like a Democrat, or she's a so-called liberal, which is a bad word, and in the Fox News world. And so I'm watching it. I don't even remember what the woman's name is, but she brings up the fact. She's like, well, is anybody here concerned that there might be a white nationalist sympathizer working in the White House? All the women say, oh, no, I got no problem with it. No problem. So nobody had a problem with the fact that Mr. Steve Bannon has ties to white nationalists. But the world went crazy 8 years ago because Barack Obama went to the church of a man who said a few things about the country that were true, by the way. So I can already tell that the first year or so I'm going to spend not just investigating the merits of whatever ideas our new president, Donald Trump, is going to offer with us. Because, you know, he's going to help us win.
You're going to be so proud of your country.
We're going to be so proud of our country.
You're going to be so proud
We're going to be so proud of the president.
About that. But you are going to be so proud of your country.
Why, Donald?
Because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again.
Winning.
We're going to win so much.
Win so much.
We're going to win at every level.
Every level.
We're going to win.
So we're going to win at every level. And I'll be here to analyze it at every level. But the second part of that, I can already tell, is going to be pointing out the hypocrisy between the two administrations. Because I've heard nobody in the Democrats say, our job is to make Donald Trump a one-term president. I didn't hear Harry Reid say that. I didn't hear Nancy Pelosi say that. I haven't heard that. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, she's got a credible, well, I don't know how credible it is, but she has a challenger for her leadership position within the Democrat Party. And the challenger is Tim Ryan from Ohio. I'll keep my eyes on that. And enough of me. Where are my damn manners, man? I got to get to the choppers.
Get to the choppers!
Got to get to the choppers. Straight to the choppers. So Tanika was in first, followed by Keisha. Happy Friday, Keisha. Pat writes, happy Friday, y'all. Robin writes, morning, everyone. Kiki writes, I read Mr. Ivy, hashtag Team and I, hashtag choppers, and hashtag friends who love the Nathan Ivy Show. 4 kisses or 4 lips. Yeah, shout out. I support friends who love the Nathan Ivy Show. That's a brand new fan page that was created by some of the choppers, and I humbly appreciate it. I will support it. Shout it out. I will post. Shauna writes, good morning. Casey writes, good morning, choppers. Deborah writes, good morning, choppers. How you doing, everybody? Tracy writes, hi. Derek writes, morning to the great folks of the Chop Shop. Kelly writes, good morning, Nathan. Ashley writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Happy family. Or happy Friday. Some well-wishers to Tanika, including Kelly. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Deborah and Deanna and Ashley. Tiffany, Daryl writes, good morning, Nate and the Hella Choppers. Donald, good morning, everybody. Tiffany, Rhonda writes, good morning, beautiful people in the chop shop. It's a great way to start your morning. Mike writes, good morning, TGIF. What are your plans this weekend? Enjoy your life. It's great to be alive, healthy. It's great to be alive. Tomorrow, the wifey and I will be attending an event. It's called Men of Honor. And I'm going to get a chance to see a man who I really respect. His name is KZ Smith. And he's the leader of Corinthian Baptist Church. A shout out to any folks who attend Corinthian Baptist Church. And a shout out to Pastor KZ Smith and his lovely wife. I know she was dealing with some health challenges. I ran into him at an event recently. We got a chance to powwow. And I express my wishes to him that his wife has a speedy recovery. She was dealing with some issues. I hope she has a speedy recovery. She's always been gracious and nice to me and her and my family. And again, you support me. I support you to the end. I'm nothing if not loyal to the very end. Always will be. Always have been. Always will be. But it'll be my pleasure to see KZ Smith honored among other men. And looking forward to it. The wife in a black tie affair. So the wife and I get a chance to be grown folks for a little bit. Good chance to get out and interact with some folks. Looking forward to it. And that's it. I'll be sitting with the CEO, the CEO's table, the Community Action Agency. Shout out to Gwen Robinson. They do great work over there. I support them to the end. They do great work in our community. So looking forward to it. And, I will take you with me. I don't think I'm going to broadcast live. I have no plans for that. But, of course, I will take pictures and let you know what happens. Absolutely. Dale writes, happy birthday. Oh, to Tanika. Angela writes, good morning. Dante writes, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Absolutely. Junior, great flow this week. It was great to hear your voice. I know. Listen, here's what I'll say about calling into the show. I'm going to give the number out because that's the nature of any talk radio medium. But I already understand that not everybody is a caller. That's not everybody's thing. I get it. I completely get it. However, I would ask you to lock me into your phone nonetheless, because as we move forward in the weeks and months and years to follow, I know at some point that we're going to hit a topic that you may feel compelled to share your opinion about. And when it comes to opinion, don't ever believe that your opinion is not valuable. That is the currency of talk radio. I value your opinion, even if we disagree. Hell, in some cases, it's even better if we disagree, because a little friction is never a bad thing. But we can always do so respectfully. We can always respectfully agree to disagree. I'm a man of my word. And here's my number. Lock this in. 513-873-7134. And if you ever have the desire to call in, boom, I'll be 1 or 2 buttons away. That's it. A lot of well-wishers to Tanika. Clue Magic writes, morning chop shop. What up, Big Nate? Holding it down, brother. A lot of well-wishers. Tanika writes, thank you, Nate. You rock. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Tanika. Appreciate it. The reason why I'm able to grow this platform is because I can demonstrate to people out there that people are actually listening. So when I say that to you over and over again, I'm trying to express how I really feel, straight up. Ed writes, Nick don't have no money. Hollow victory, exactly. Yeah, Nick Gordan. He was the brother boyfriend of Bobbi Kristina Brown, I believe it is. And, of course, that's the daughter of Whitney Houston. Damn, Whitney Houston was taken too soon. But she did to herself. I mean, addiction is taking drugs. That's a self-inflicted wound. It really is. I'll stand by that. And I believe that addiction is real. It really is. It is a real thing. I mean, you can crawl into that bottle and never crawl out. Or you can start taking drugs for recreational reasons. And that's usually what happened to people. You know, they're at a party or they're just drinking with their friends or whatever. And they start doing it for one reason, just to have a good time. But they continue to do drugs because they're maybe fighting demons or they're feeling insecure. Who knew that Whitney Houston was insecure? And I don't mean that like she was insecure about how she looked, but just insecure about her ability to get out in front of people. I remember she sat down with Diane Sawyer many years ago, and she talked about the difficulties of and the feeling of potentially letting 10,000 people down. And I'm thinking, your voice was blessed by, you got a gift from God. You're not going to let anybody down, Whitney. But from the outside looking in, it's very difficult to really see how people really see themselves. It's very hard. You'd be amazed. I bet there's a lot of people in the limelight. I bet there's a lot of people in Hollywood or on television or whatever. And from the outside looking in, you think they got it going on. They're super confident. They're self-assured. But on the real, they're terrified to death every time they get out there on that stage. And that's why I try to impart to my daughter, because she wants to sing and dance and do all those kind of things. And I keep telling her, don't ever get punked out about that. Don't ever think that because you're nervous before a performance that the Beyoncés or whoever is your favorite performer isn't nervous. Everybody's nervous. Everybody's nervous. You get over it. You do it anyway. And that's the difference between those that do it and those that don't. One of the differences. Adele, right? Yeah, I remember that show and Whitney was more off the chain than Bobby. Yeah, Whitney was off the chain. And now they want to blame Nick Gordan. I don't know the particulars. I know he was there that night and he placed her in the water. I don't know if he was trying to stage her death or put her in a scenario that we know that Whitney Houston was in. Now we know what happened to Whitney Houston. She was in a bathtub, fell asleep, rendered unconscious by taking drugs and drowned. Slipped under the water and that was it. Terrible way to go. Terrible way to go. But how the hell is he going to come up with $30-something million? I didn't know that Nick Gordan had it like that. I mean, if he does, he does. If he does not, as someone put it, it's a hollow victory. I think it was Ed. Yeah, hollow victory. Clue writes, they will be waiting on that $39 million. Homeboy ain't got it. No, he does not. Billy writes, Morning Chop Shop is Friday. Let's get it. Don't forget to like the show and the flow. Thank you very much, Billy. I appreciate it. Craig writes, I'm not surprised at all what happened to Bobbi Kristina. That girl never had a chance. She was set up for failure. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Now, some of you might be saying, blasphemous. She's dead. Don't speak ill of the dead. No way is this meant to be speaking ill of the dead. But we got to keep it real. Craig said it best. Craig Flo, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Mama was all drugged out. On camera drugged out. Now, you know you're dealing with a serious addiction if you can't put the drugs down and you're filming a reality show. You've got cameras in your face, in your space, and you still can't stop taking your drugs. Addiction's something serious. So I don't know how it's Nick Gordan's fault, because Bobbi Kristina slipped down the same path as her mother and perhaps her father. Everybody blamed Bobby. Remember that? Bobby did. No, it was Whitney. It's Whitney. Sluggo writes, good morning, everyone. X-Squad affiliate, salute. Tracy writes, what kind of a game is Trump playing? # winning. Well, he was playing, I think I'm smarter than everybody else. Yeah. Donald Trump thinks that he's smarter than you are. He most certainly thinks he's smarter than the people in Kentucky. Have you heard the latest news over the last 24 hours? Donald Trump is falsely claiming that he stopped Ford from leaving a Kentucky and to take a plant from Kentucky and move it down to Mexico. That's what he's claiming. He actually tweeted that. So you can expect for the president, the new president, to tweet a lot. His personal feelings. Seems like he's a night owl because he tweets a lot at 3 a.m. in the morning. Maybe he can't sleep. And Fox News is running with this like, oh, this is an example of Donald Trump. And it's called the Trump effect. So get ready for this. So President-elect Donald Trump claimed on Thursday that he made Ford Motor Company keep a factory in Kentucky instead of moving it to Mexico. Quote, just got a call from my friend Bill Ford, chairman of Ford, who advised me that he will be keeping the Lincoln plant in Kentucky. No Mexico. The only problem is that Ford never had plans to move any of their plants from Lincoln to Mexico. Never had any plans to do it. But here's an example of how Donald Trump is going to use propaganda and his connections to other billionaires and rich dudes to try to pull the wool over your eyes. Donald Trump thinks he's smarter than Kentuckians. That's what he thinks. Oh, he's much smarter than you are. Quote, I worked hard with Bill Ford to keep the Lincoln plant in Kentucky. I owed it to the great state of Kentucky for their confidence in me. This is what he tweeted. Now, after the tweets, a spokesman for Ford Company confirmed that the company never said the plant was going to close. They never said it was going to close. said it. So where's the victory there? Now, what needs to be said, here's the irony of it. What needs to be said is that early in the campaign trail, and the reason why this is so relevant and why they're talking about Ford is because earlier in the campaign, along the trail, it was revealed that the good folks over at Ford are planning to move the production of the Ford Focus to Mexico. And Donald Trump criticized him for that. But that's not made in Kentucky. That's not what they're talking about. And here's the deal. They're still going forward to move production of the Ford Focus to Mexico. So Ford is still moving forward with its plans to move the production of the Ford Focus to Mexico. That's what Donald Trump criticized him about many months ago. And yet Donald Trump is claiming some kind of victory because Ford is planning to not do what it never planned to do. This is the kind of games that you can expect from the Trump administration. They think they're smarter than you. They think you're dumb, quite honestly. I would imagine that in Trump Tower, they are howling at laughter. They're laughing at the Clintons and they're laughing at the people that voted on them. That's what they're laughing at. Like, how dumb could they be? Sheeple. And they're going to lead you like sheeple. They're going to lead you like sheeple. You know, you can expect a whole lot more of this.
You're going to be so proud of your country if I get in. You're going to be so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of your country because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
And people went for that. So if you can go for something that is, what as I like to put it, 1,000 miles wide and 1 millimeter deep, why would, now that he's in the White House, why would he govern? Why would he communicate? Why would he interact with the people in any different manner? It worked for him already. So Trump is running around. The Republican media is going to run around. They're going to run with this story all day long. Oh, it's the Trump effect. And there's nothing to it. The company had never said that it was going to close a Kentucky assembly plant. You Google it. You're not going to find it. So this is a collusion, I believe, between Donald Trump and Bill Ford, chairman of the Ford company. Now, what I like to see is Bill Ford, chairman of Ford, come out and say, well, wait a minute. I know Donald Trump's a friend and all, but we never had plans on closing this particular assembly plant. And we're moving forward with our plans to transfer the production of the Ford Focus to Mexico, which represents the loss of American jobs. These are the kind of games you can expect. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. That's the kind of game. Shannon writes, good morning. Happy Friday. Corinthia writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. Damian writes, I bet UK takes that Trump federal money. It'll be interesting to see that now a so-called Republican is the White House. If the Republican Party is going to want to now take stimulus money, if they're going to want to now spend government money on infrastructure, okay, you got two sectors that can grow jobs, the private sector and the public sector. OK, the Republican Party for the last 8 years were successful in slowing down the amount of jobs that the public sector could provide. Right. They put it all in the private sector, even though there's a symbiotic relationship between the two. And they did this so that, well, and it worked for them. Let's give the Republican Party props because people let them get away with it. They spent 8 years basically digging their heels into the ground. They were the obstructionist party. If the president says, listen, I want to spend $478 million for infrastructure, they said no. They found some reason to say no every single time. OK, because they didn't want to give the president, Barack Obama, the current president, any cachet. They didn't want to give him any wins. They didn't want him to build any political capital whatsoever. Why? Well, because they wanted him to be a one-term president. What they were hoping is after 4 years, if they could slow down the growth of everything in the country, they can come back and say, well, we told you Obama's socialist ideas don't work. But to their surprise, Mitt Romney couldn't be Barack Obama. So they did it for another 4 years, and it worked for them this time. They can sit back and say the country's in the wrong direction and people don't have jobs when they spent 8 years trying to make sure the country was feeling in the mood that it is, hoping that a Republican candidate could cash in on it, and it worked. So it will be interesting to see how far it really goes for them. You know, maybe they'll play ball, but I'll be here to keep the record straight for you. Dale writes, Barack Obama is fighting against Republicans and Democrats too. Don't get it twisted. The Democrats are saying they are willing to work with Trump. They have no backbone, and that makes me wonder how many of them really had Barack Obama's back. I feel you, Daryl, but that was, quite honestly, that was the Republicans in Congress. And they created a wall. It didn't matter. They didn't want to play ball with Barack Obama on anything because they did not want him to win. And that's why I asked you. The Democrats now are in a very interesting position because, you know, if Donald Trump says, listen, I want to get past an infrastructure plan, and the Republicans say, listen, we want to get on board with the new President Trump. If the Democrats get on board and it's something they believe in, they may give him political capital that he can spend for the next idea. And the next idea could be goofy as hell. It could be amassing money for a mass deportation force. So it's a very interesting position that the Democrats find themselves in right now. But enough of me, more to the phones. So shall we go? I'm awaiting a phone call from Sandra from SOAC. Let's go straight to the phones. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Nathan?
Yeah, Sandra.
This is Sandra.
How you doing, Sandra? Good morning.
I'm fantastic, Nate.
Glad to have you on the show. Everybody, this is Sandra with SOAC. Good morning to you again, Sandra.
Good morning. I'm sorry my voice is a little scratchy. Got a cold, but all is good.
It's all good. It's that time of year. Yes, well, Sandra, you know, listen, we've been promoting SOAC for the last week and a half now, and I'm glad you're on to talk about it in particular. Yeah. Tell us about SOAC. Tell us about how it was founded.
Well, at age 14, I worked with Meals on Wheels, with CCY. That was my first job ever leaving my community, able to take the number 27 down to Washington Elementary School at the time where now Washington Park sits. And we were preparing hot meals for seniors and taking the meals out to different senior centers throughout the city. Now, imagine this 14-year-old girl never leaving her community, now downtown Cincinnati, taking meals out throughout the city, and really was kind of curious on why we were feeding seniors. So didn't realize that the city at the time was funding all those programs for seniors to stay connected to their community. From there, age 16, 17, worked at the VA, helping seniors get back and forth to their doctors. So the problems that the VA is having now, they also had it then. Long doctor waits, and it was just unreal. But, you know, I became very excited about it. And from there, unfortunately, went to, finish school, not unfortunately, but finished high school, went on to become a roofer. So I was a roofer for like 5 years. I had a young son, so really didn't understand my position in life, what that entailed. But I fell off the roof, and I said, well, you know what, this is just a little much. And I just figured that was a sign from God. So I started working in one of the nursing homes here in Avondale. And that changed my life. That really sparked the interest of continuing to do something for our elders. Unfortunately, they had 5 nursing homes in Avondale, all African Americans just about, and no one was coming to see them. Their community wasn't coming, their friends, their kids, and I really just became a little disturbed, so I started looking through their charts and started taking them to their churches, calling up their kids, saying, your mom is still alive. You need to come see Dad. And got to just invest into their lives. And then Avondale at the time had 26 nursing homes and like 7, 8 senior buildings. And I was thinking, why isn't no one doing anything for these old people? And so I guess the nursing home didn't like all the extra stuff I was doing. They thought I was just going to play bingo. But it was bigger than bingo. So I quit, right? And I started serving older adults to changing times. But it was really called Seniors of Avondale Community Turf. At that time, Avondale had over 6,000 seniors, higher than any community next to Hyde Park. But we didn't have a senior center in this area. So a lot of the seniors were attending adult day programs outside of Avondale, And that's where I met my business partner. Her name was Sandra as well. And we just put our heads together. We wrote up our 510c3, did the things that we needed to do with the internal revenue, won our first grant through Shell gas station. They flew me down to Tampa, Florida. And, man, I could just tell you from there, I just felt empowered. Unfortunately, Sandra died 2 years later of breast cancer. And I can remember going to see her at the Jewish Hospital on Vernon Avenue and her saying, if you're going to continue to do so, you're going to have to do it without me. I'm like, I can't do this without you. I need you. I was young, insecure, knew I was on to something, but just didn't know how I was going to do it. But I did it, and I've been doing it with a lot of good people behind me. And we just celebrated our 24th year this past August. And,
wow, that's big. That's big. Sandra, real quick, I'm not on speaker, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, I hear a little bit of feedback.
My house I'm the only one here.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm speaking with Sandra with SOAC. So what is the state? I mean, based in Cincinnati, it sounds like a base in Avondale. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
And so what is the state of Cincinnati's senior population from your perspective, and what are some of the challenges that they're dealing with?
Isolation. Isolation is huge. At the time, as I mentioned about the nursing homes in Avondale, most of the nursing homes have now moved on the outside of the city. So that means that the people that grew up in downtown West End and all that, this inner city area, they're outside now. So if the families didn't come and see them while they were closed, you'd think they're going out there now. They're not. Isolation is the key. I think that the Council on Aging and Cincinnati Area Senior Services, which are agencies that are governed to receive the monies trickle down from the federal government to the state, has done very little to help little nonprofit organizations like myself. But then I want that freedom to go to folks' homes to do everything. So I think the state could be better if people pretty much took better care of our seniors. And you can't expect the government to do that. I see family members turning their backs on folks because they can't help them. And they can't take off work to take mom to the doctor. You know, they can't do that. So you've got to call in your friends, other family members, and you got to ask for help. There is very little activities going on in our senior centers anymore. The seniors are just not coming out. They're not participating. So there are some things going on with recreation, which I meet with the director later on today. So they do offer programs, but transportation is a problem. Most seniors are not going to get out here and take that bus to a senior center. So we need door-to-door services, and we had that at one time, but it's not there anymore. But we need family members to maybe step up and do a little bit more. I mean, my dad will be 78 tomorrow, and I have 5 siblings here in the Cincinnati area, and we take turns going to see him, taking him food, getting him out of the house, making sure that he's okay. But a lot of my people that call me, they don't have that. A lot of our seniors are being exploited too, man. I'm telling you, I got a call this week, a guy that listened to your show, and his family members have taken over $300,000 and some odd thousand for mom, and now they've put her in the nursing home, right? But see, now the IRS want their money off of there, so what do you think they're doing now? They're running scared because they have spent all the money. And it's those type of things that we have taken advantage of our seniors. And I think we can do more in the city. I know that PG has been going out to different community councils trying to get a feel of what they need. But our seniors need to speak up. And they need to be able to say, you know what, I can't make it off to $700 a month. At the third week of the month, I don't have any food. And they need to be a little more proactive. They need to participate in what is happening. They need to be able to say, you know what, things are different. Tomorrow we'll be passing out over 50 turkeys in Avondale. Nate, I need 500 of them because there are family members that just don't have the money anymore. So I see the challenge twofold. I see it that we need to put a little more resources in our community, but families need to step up.
So speaking with Sandra with SOAC, so if I feel like I've got a mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, you know, an elderly person in my family, and I feel like they're being exploited, what are some of the options that I have? Is there a governmental office that I can call? What do I do if I feel like, you know, somebody in my family is not being taken care of properly?
Well, fortunately for me, thanks to Bernadette Watson, I sit on the Pro Senior board, right? And Pro Senior, that's a free organization that will help our seniors. And I can tell you, Nate, that group of folks work very hard in making sure that our seniors are not exploited. But again, the seniors got to be the one that call, or a family member got to be sitting right next to that person so they can make that initial call. Because a lot of times the person that's calling is the perpetrator, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes the seniors are so afraid that they're not going to say, my son, my daughter, my granddaughter, because they don't want to lose that connection and because they realize they are getting old. So you got pro-seniors, and then you got the elder abuse that's downtown with Job and Family Service. But at one time, they had over 30 staff. I think they only got 2 or 3 investigators now that goes out to investigate allegations from our seniors. So it's very scarce here in this town. So those are some things that we need to ask Todd Patoon and Denise Driehaus. We need to ask them to maybe hire a little more staff and doing that. But the seniors have to support it by calling in so the numbers can show that help is needed. But pro-seniors, I mean, I could tell you at our board meeting last week at pro-seniors, they talked about how much money they have gotten back from seniors that have retired and didn't know that the company went out of business, right? So that money was sitting, say, in a bank accumulating or a credit union. And some of these seniors have gotten back some nice piece of money. You know, so if you are a senior and or your parents work somewhere and you don't know if they got that extra money from that pension when Kindler's closed and some of those old factors we used to have in our community, Stern and Foster, call pro-seniors. Have them look into it because they have accumulated almost $4 million of monies that seniors forgot that they had. So people got to get involved. You know, that aging plan, you got to be able to say, what are those final wishes? What do they want? What do they need? And go from there. You can't wait to get mom house accessible or dad house accessible after they have fallen. That's a little too late.
Right.
You know, move stuff out the way now. We fighting with my dad now. We want to take out one couch. He is having a fit. Yeah. But we got to get it out of there because he just don't have the room to move around anymore.
I've been there, Sandra. I've been there. My grandmother, she was getting older, and I'm not sure what that is. I mean, but she was it's my stuff. She's like a pack rat. She wanted to hold on to all these things. And the way I believed it was, Sandra, and you tell me is what you've seen, is that they hold memories. The couch holds, they remember all the family members and all the babies that was changed on that couch. That couch is more than a couch to them. And that's how I looked at it with my grandmother. But how do you move grandma's stuff? She's grandma. And you know she's going to be mad at you.
Right? You got to help them realize, and they know that they're getting old, and they know that things are changing. But you can't scare the crap out of them, right? You got to help them realize that things are changing. And when you go to the doctor with them, you help the doctor to have that conversation with them. A lot of times, I'm going to tell you, you can go to UC right now, and I'll bet you in the room there's about 50 seniors in there waiting to see a doctor, which is not their primary doctor because they see a different doctor every time they go, and they don't tell them the truth. They don't say, you know, I've fallen, I can't get out of the tub anymore, so I need my bathroom accessible. They're not having those type of conversations. We got to have those conversations. I remember going in the doctor's office with my dad. He said, I thought you was going to sit in the lobby. I bet you did. I'm in the room. You know, let me take the clothes off. Oh, my dad had a fit. He was like, well, where's your brother? He has to work, so you got me.
Right. I can understand that because it's a role reversal. It's a role reversal. It really is.
It's a role reverse. But you got to be willing. You know, we love on my dad. My mom is no longer here, but we loved on her, too. But you have to prepare them for when those times happening. What happens if you fall, Mom? Are you going to tell me? I had a friend, his mom that broke her hip, right? And she kept on saying, baby, I'm okay, baby. And I said, could she move? No, she ain't moving. I said, did she fall? I don't think so. Turned out she did fall, you know, and she never recovered. She ended up dying 2 months later. She never recovered.
Wow.
So we got to pay attention. We got to ask those questions. And then go get them. Take them out. You'll know if they're not eating, you know, because they won't eat while you're out. You know? And that's my dad's biggest thing. Oh, I just ate. Okay, Dad, I got some food I'm bringing you. And he'll sit there and eat. You know, well, I didn't know you was going to cook no fish. Oh, yeah, I got it. You know, you take them what they like. You know, he's a diabetic. I know he can't eat cake. But I got bread making him a sugar-free cake tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's just things you got to do different. But you got to be willing to do it. And so I guess my calling, it's my passion, And it wasn't until I joined church at Corinthian Baptist Church where my pastor's being honored, Pastor Casey. And I'm sitting there one day, he said, well, what is your purpose in life? What did God ask you to do? I thought I lost my mind because all along I thought I was doing this all by myself. But I'm not doing it by myself. I got good people, a good board, good friends. I got people that care about me. I got a husband that he works for hospice, so he gets to see folks die all week long. While I'm keeping them alive, keeping them energetic, he gets to watch them die. But his biggest thing is they shouldn't die and shouldn't suffer when they die. You don't have to suffer. God's not intended for us to do that. But if you live a crazy life, you're going to die a crazy life. That's just the name of the game. But if you take care of yourself, you exercise, you eat right, do right by people, man, your transition to that next life, it's going to be smooth. But say if it's not. We can't wait until the last hour to call hospice in. We need to bring them in early so that our family members won't suffer, so they can help ease that pain. So that transition to death should not be a painful one. So if nothing else, this is what I do. But I also help people get the things that they need. I need a lady now, she needs some furniture. Well, she was put out of her house, and now she wants her own apartment, but she doesn't have anything. I don't have money to buy furniture, but I can help find some. I can help donate some. So if anybody wants to donate some extra furniture they don't want to use, call me, because I'm always in need of stuff. I mean, I ain't got a warehouse, but I know folks that need wheelchairs, because Medicaid and sometimes don't pay for this stuff. So we need to pay attention. We need to help. When you go to the grocery store, this is another big thing. You see our seniors riding around in the grocery cart?
Yeah.
Don't not notice them, because they can't get up to pick up that stuff off that top shelf. I love Kroger's because Kroger's will help them. But we see them too. Help them. You see an old lady cutting the grass in the middle of the summer? Get out your car. Ask her if she needs help. Just pay attention to what is going on in our community for our seniors. And so I'm hoping that I can get bigger and better, right? Because we started global aging, because folks are aging all over the world. All different cultures are dealing with what we're talking about. And I'm going to take it to a next level. And I need folks to make sure that they pay attention to this administrator, because they didn't say anything about the aging. Nothing. I didn't hear anything.
Right. The closest we got to was a conversation about we're going to help the veterans win. You talking about the new Trump administration?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But you know what?
The Administrator on Aging, you got the Older American Act, you got the Alzheimer's Association, you got folks that need money for research, and that's another thing, Nate. Those of us that are baby boomers, we need to sign up for some of this research. We're in our 50s and 40s now, but we pray to God that we won't stay here. But don't you want a cure later on in life? A lot of our folks that are dealing with dementia, a lot of that, I won't say it could have been prevented, but they got techniques now that you can use, and that's reading, staying involved. That TV is I don't even want to call it a killer. It's a killer. It rips our seniors of their being. The average senior got their TV on as we speak right now. Maury Porpin, all that garbage. There's so much garbage on TV. But if you ask them, hey, what's the name of your medication you take from what doctor? Well, it's a little brown pill, and then it's a yellow pill. But what's the name of it, and what is it for? They can't tell you.
Right. You're right.
I see them. We used to do what we call brown bag. I would say, bring all your medicine. And then I had someone from Kroger's Pharmacy or Walgreens. I don't even do that hardly anymore, because you know why? Because you gotta want more for yourself, right? So if you're sitting up there knowing that you on an oxygen tank, why would you still be smoking a cigarette?
It happens.
Who does that?
I've seen it, Sandra. I've seen it. That nicotine addiction is that powerful. It's that powerful, and people just can't wean themselves off of it.
Yes. But let me back up real quick, Sandra. To make that connection to aging well. And we can't be afraid of it. Like right now, we should be planning what we want our life to look like at 75 and 80.
You're right.
I got my plan, but I've also told my son, I only have one child, but my 2 granddaughters and all my nieces, this is what I need you to do. I'm going to need you to come clean. I'm going to need you to take me to the store, And I'll tease them, I need a check. I'm going to need some money from you. So when I give them money now, I tell them, don't pay me back. Keep it. Because I'm going to need it.
Because I'm going to need it later, right. Hey, Sandra, you brought up something earlier. You said, hit up Todd Portune, Denise Driehaus.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, those are our Hamilton County commissioners. And what that goes back to me is we just got through an election cycle, and the issues of seniors locally didn't come up at all.
It didn't come up at all.
Not even a little bit.
No.
And
they think about that. But we got to be at the table. And I'm going to tell you, everywhere I go, anybody I can talk to, you're going to hear me talking about our seniors. That's what I do. But I also say to family members, even when I'm at the store, if I see an elderly person, how you doing? You need anything? No, baby, I'm okay. Here's my number anyhow. Give it to your daughter, your son. So I do that. Social Security office. Met an old guy, him and his son was talking, and his son was like, well, Dad, we want things to be a little different. We want to take you to these places. Dad's like, I can still drive. He said, well, Dad, that's what we're talking about. We don't want you driving anymore. So I overheard the conversation. I said, you know what? He's right. Because let me tell you, your reflex are slower. You're not going to do right. You're not going to be safe. That man looked at me like, who is this lady? I said, but I love you. Here's my number if you need me. So we got to be willing to engage our community in those conversations like that, like we do our kids. Our seniors, you don't want to make it seem like they don't know. They know. They've written this story. They know. They've paved the grounds we walk on. But they're a little slower now.
At what age, Sandra, do you think that you should sit down and write your aging plan? And what's the first step in the aging plan, in your opinion?
I say in your 30s. By the time you hit 30, 35, you should know exactly what to expect from your life at 40 and 50 and 60. So your aging plan, it can change just like your budget change, right? It's going to change. But as you get older, you should have some expectations on what that's like. A lot of us are now dealing with health issues. Can't walk as fast, can't move as fast. Knees is going out, need hip replacements. I have never seen so many people with knee replacement and hip replacements all my life. But I bet you if you go check the average person 70 and up, they didn't have all that. They didn't do all that. So what are we doing different that they did? And they worked twice as hard as we did. So what are we doing wrong? It's our diet. It's our attitudes. It's about everything. We want to put on shoes we can't even fit. Our seniors, they walk slow. They took their time. I don't know too many older adults that had knee replacements. I don't. But I know a lot of folks under 60. I see them over at Drake Pool when I'm in the pool. Everybody in the pool done had some type of replacement. So you need to write your aging plan now. You need to know exactly what you need to do. All this medicine they have us on, oh, my God, you don't think that's taking effect on our organs?
Yes, it is.
It's jacking us up. And God forbid if they say they can't make anymore, what are we going to do? Well, you can control that diabetes. You can control obesity. There are some things we can do. This cancer is running rapid in our community. Why? I think it's the meat. I think it's a whole bunch of stuff that just sits on our bellies and just find a place to go. I have asthma and I can't breathe. Well, I know there's certain areas I can't go into. But I also know when I swim, when I walk, my breathing is better. My lungs are stronger. So at 30, I want to know, what am I like? What do I want my life to look like at 50? Well, I want to be in shape.
And it's possible.
Diabetes.
And it's possible.
I don't want that stuff.
You don't have to break down when you get into your 50s and 60s.
You do not.
But you have to start in your 30s and your 40s, even your 20s. And like you said, how you treat your body, what you eat, drugs, alcohol, things like that. Yeah. All that matters.
All that matters.
I'll tell you one other thing that we rarely think about, and then it happens and we wish we would have, and that's burial arrangements.
Oh, my stars. Well, J.C. Battle, J.C. Battle, and I'm not trying to put him out there like that, but I used to call J.C. Battle all the time, and I still do sometimes, right? When folks didn't have burial. I had this one guy at one of the senior buildings. He stayed in the morgue for 2 months. They calling me, what you want us to do with this body? I'm like, you don't have to cremate him because we can't afford to do anything. Family members wouldn't calling me back, all because when he had money, that's what he did. He didn't help nobody else, so they didn't help him, because we hold grudges against folks when they don't do for us. We do that. But our seniors, a lot of them, they did what they knew to do, right? Most of them walked away from their kids some of them, right? Because they couldn't take care of them. Or they sent them down south to grandma. I got some family members and some friends that are still mad at their mom and dad, and they dead and gone. I'm like, what they got? You got to get over it. So it has a lot to do with not preparing to die. Why would you not have a policy of some sort? Why would you put that off on somebody? I got my dad, right? My sister said, you need to ask Dad about his policy. I'm like, he had a policy? So I said, Dad, how much do you have? I didn't want to say, do you have one, but how much policy? What you got? He said, I cashed that in 10 years ago. You don't have one?
Wow.
10 years ago to buy some furniture when he was a little young buck out there trying to be cool with the girl. I said, you better get a policy. I called Gail. That Gail went from her home. Hey, my dad needs a policy and he needs a burial agreement. Guess what? We got all that now. And that was about 15 years ago.
I would imagine that brings peace of mind. Once you get that in place, it's a weight off of you. Like, it's one last thing I don't have to worry about. And people, I've lived through it with my grandparents. Power of attorney. I mean, very important. It's things it's almost like people are afraid. A will. It's almost like some people are afraid to have those conversations because they think it's morbid or they think it's going to set mom or dad up or whoever up for death. And it's just planning for the eventualities that are going to come.
And you got to do it. So that's a part of that aging plan. My sisters, we're not going to be fighting over who takes care of dad. I do the health. My other sister does the finance. And believe me, my dad has her going to the bank every week. I'm glad she took that part. But we know what he's got. We know where it's at. We know where his paperwork is in case something does happen. And it will. We will all die. Before I got married, my son knew, and he still knows what every piece of paper I have. Where are my policies? What's my final wishes? I want to be cremated. Well, you got to tell folks you want to be cremated. It's nothing like mom died and you sitting up there saying, well, we're going to have the funeral and we're going to call Walker. And she's like, no, she's already down at St. Joseph's. Oh, but we planned this. No, mom said this. You got to put it down in writing. You got to tell somebody. You can call anybody. Folks won't admit it. But their family dynamics have broke up because of when mom and dad died. I hear them. I've been at this for a long time. I went looking for an elderly friend of mine the other day. Her curtain's gone out of her window. I called all her kids, right? And I said, well, where's mom? Oh, the other sister, she took her and she lives over there. I said, what's that sister number? Oh, she don't want nobody calling her. I said, but you can't call and check on your mom? She said, no. I said, that's not right. But see, that same family, 8 years ago, I met with 6 of their siblings. It was horrible. They all was fighting, pointing fingers. And all I can say to them, I would like to see y'all 6-10 years from now. And now look at what I'm looking at. It's horrible. So it's real, and it's not to dog out anybody, but there are some things we can do. And we can love on our seniors. We can love on each other. But definitely our seniors, take better care of them. Let's find out what their needs are. Let's help them. Let's give them some extra money. Don't wait on mom and dad to call you. Take some food and fruit over there. Take some fresh vegetables. Change the way they look at food. Get that pork up out of their house. I'm sorry if those that like pork, but them pork feet and ears and all that stuff is raise up their blood pressure. Can't do all that stuff no more. We got to do things a little different. And SOAC is about how do we help our seniors. And I used the acronym SOAC because I said, the issues, so act. Know what to do. We know what to do. I mean, I'm 55 now. I've been at this a long time. I'll never forget Mr. Arnett Lyons. He was a member at Southern Baptist Church. When I met him, I was 23 years old. He was 97. And he said, baby, it's going to be different when you get to be my age. He said, I pray that you have somebody around you like you are around me. He said, you help me. I love that man. I loved him so much. I'm telling you, I would have given my life for him. I would go get him and take him to when we had the jazz at Swifton Commons. I did everything I could for him. And one day they saw him walking down Reading Road at 4:30 in the morning. He was saying he was going to work. And that was that early sign of that dementia. But I didn't know then. Sister put him in the nursing home. He didn't want to tell me where he was, but I act like I was his daughter at UC, and they told me what nursing home they put him in. I went to see him, and he said, baby, it hurts to think. What's going on? Called his sister up. I said, I'm here to help you. He died. She never called and told me that he died. I went running over there one Friday. They was like, oh, he died on Monday. I'm like, you're kidding me. Never called me. Never called me.
Well, listen, you can call Sandra at 513-861-2790. And Sandra, I'm happy to partner with you and try to push what you're doing.
Thank you for this opportunity.
And just so people know, you told me you have received some phone calls. Is that true?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay.
I really have. And those folks are listening, and I don't want them to be embarrassed because it's not our fault. We got to help each other. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you. This is who I am. This is what I do.
Well, Sandra, listen, have a great day. I'm going to continue to give the number out, and we'll connect real soon.
You got it.
Yep, thank you for your time. Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's Sandra right there. Appreciate her. And I'm not sure what she just called me. She called me Nathan there? I'm not sure. But again, her number is 513-861-2790. And if you want to talk to Sandra, you can hear the passion. And as I've told you 1,000 times over the years, give me someone who is passionate about what they do, that gives a damn, over, somebody that's just doing it, maybe just for the money or whatever, any day of the week. You can hear the passion. That's very sobering. Very sobering. And again, I've lived through it. Grandma, the patriarch and the matriarch of your family pass away. You've got no plan in place. You know what happens? It becomes a mad scramble. And in some families, people start trying to divvy up property. She said I could have the vacuum machine. She's the vacuum cleaner. She said this chair was mine. That's why the plan in writing, signed, is so key. I mean, even with your spouse, put it in writing. You can tell somebody something, but people's feelings change. And people tell different people different things. So they may tell a spouse like, well, hey, I want to be cremated. And they may tell a brother or sister, hey, I want to go out. You put me in a sarcophagus. Okay? You got to put it in writing so people know explicitly what you want and what you mean. And she's right. We rarely think about that. And when you're in your 30s, you never think you're going to die. You're not thinking about no damn aging plan. I'm never going to be 50 until you're 50. And you wish you had a plan. But I'm happy to hear that via this platform, we've been able to make some movement toward what she's doing. Glad to hear that. Nathan Ivey. We'll take a quick pause and come back. This is the Nathan Ivey Show.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the
Hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad.
Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be you, right? Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff, even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Now back to the show.
Good morning, Choppers. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, sponsored by UC Health. UC Health, Cincinnati's only academic health system. They're doing great work in the community here in the city of Cincinnati. They're moving the Cincinnati community forward. And I met with their leadership, some of their leadership, maybe about a month ago. I can tell you firsthand that they know there are some places that we can grow in the city, and they're committed to fill those spaces. And listen back over the days and weeks and months to follow to hear more about that. And many thanks for Sandra from SOACT coming on the show today. You can hear the passion, right? And hopefully that conversation finds you in the right place. Some of you might be like, I don't want to hear that nonsense, but when you need them, hopefully they'll be there for you. Good morning, welcome back. Let's get back into it. So my daughter has a boot on her leg because she sprained her toe. We think that she's had a fracture on her toe. That girl, man, she's been through in the last 6-7 months. Injury after injury. She's a very active young girl, young woman, 11 years old now, almost 12 next year. Very active. She's mentally sharp and physically strong. I hug her sometime like, damn, baby girl. That's because I got baby girl planking. We plank as a family. Keeps your core strong. Yeah, Nate Ivey, I'm not raising those softies over here. Not mentally soft or physically soft. My children will be strong. And little Buddha is a testament to that. Very strong with little girl. And sometimes I just got to deal with it. She doesn't snap back on dad, but I don't want to throw I don't want to throw cold water on her growing personality and her self-esteem. Very strong. But anyway, she's got a boot on her leg right now. She had a cast on her leg for about a month or so because of a growth on her bone spur, basically in her knee. And we were told it's just something that happens with children who are very, very active. She's very active, dancing, playing sports. I mean, that's the way it is. I'll go into a room at any particular point, and she's in there doing dance routines on her own. I love it. I love it because it's not just she's watching television. She's doing something creative, and she's exercising. I love it. I encourage it. But now she's got a boot on her leg because she's got a fractured toe. And it's very cumbersome. She can't run and play like the other kids like the other kids do. And in gym class, she's very hampered. She came to me the other day and told me that something that a gym teacher said to her. And so now I've got to send an email to the gym teacher to correct her on that. I won't put it out there until it's resolved. But I've told you, I am a protector of my children. And the slightest bit of an issue, I'm there at the school. Not in a way that's negative. Okay, I'll let the teachers know I'm here to support you in the educational process of my child. But if I feel like something's not right, then I step in real quick to introduce myself as necessary because they know me. And just to work out any issues so we can find common ground. And what she told me the teacher said wasn't racist in any way like that. I just thought it was a bit insensitive. So I've got to have a conversation with her gym teacher very, very soon. And today, in fact, she just told me this yesterday. So today, in fact, matter of fact, I left a message this morning and hoping to hear something back today. But what's happening in our schools? I saw a video of a woman that referred to one of her students as the N-word. And apparently the teacher was having some issues controlling the class. Now, having worked in a public school, I'm here to tell you that not all teachers have what it takes to manage classrooms. They may all have the intelligence to be a teacher, but they may not have the temperament to control today's children. Because some of these kids are a reflection of their parents. And that's not always good. I'll be straight up with you. I've seen it firsthand. There's some children that are straight up neglected, and you can tell by the way they act. Or there's some kids who are growing up with parents or a parent, a mama in a lot of cases, that don't give a damn. And so, and is not afraid to tell the world that. And so the kids pick that up and they bring it to school. And then educators have to deal with that. It's quite unfair, quite honestly. And what I've observed is not all adults have the temperament to deal with that. Some people, you don't want to go in their classroom because they're going to go there with you in a very professional way within the confines of the laws and the rules and let you know I'm running this. Others, they let the kids run them. And so in the video I'm referring to, it was a teacher that was just exasperated. And she actually put her hands on a child. That's a no-no. Don't put your hands on my child. Okay? Do not put your hands on my children. And I won't put my hands on your children. Okay? And I won't put my hands on you. It's wild out here, man. People are reacting everywhere you go. It seems like ever since we got the news that Donald Trump is going to be the new president. Everywhere you go, it seems like, in the media anyway, people are wilding out. White people are wilding out. Let me be honest here. White people are wilding out. A couple of days ago, we talked about a Suck MC teacher, Sosa's last name, who threatened the black student or threatened the student and told him that he was going to call Donald Trump and have him sent back to Africa. And I'm thinking, what kind of student is this? I saw a video of a person who was a Donald Trump protester. He was anti-Trump. He was standing at the bottom of what looked like an escalator or stairs, and a pro-Trump sympathizer walked down the stairs behind him and just pushed him to the ground. I mean, shoved him to the ground. Shoved him to the ground. And this morning I woke up and I came across an article. This is on the Griot. I will link it to the chapters of today's podcast. But a disgruntled customer at a Starbucks franchise near the University of Miami became upset because his order was taking so long, and then he claimed white discrimination. White discrimination. And then when one of the patrons in Starbucks called him an a-hole, he told the woman, F-U-B. And that's when somebody started filming. So this is not edited. I'll give you a heads up. I know many people listening with their children. I will give you a heads up. If you decide you want to turn it down, don't turn away, but turn me down or go into another room. I want to give you enough time. But this is the internet and we all grown folks. Check this out.
I want nothing to do with you. I don't like Starbucks. You're a complete part. You're trash. Because I voted for Trump.
So what?
Trump. You lost. Now give me my money back. What is your name? I want your name. I want your card. Okay, you're garbage. You're complete trash. Hey, come on. You don't talk like that. You want to talk like that? Get outside. Don't talk to other people like that. Do not talk. I don't tell them that you did discrimination. Okay, she might have done that or something. I don't know what happened. You don't need to talk like that. Okay, that's fine. But don't tell me what to do. No, do not talk to other people that way. Okay. I don't know what's happening. I didn't hear. Do not talk to me like that. All right? Come on. Do not talk to me like that. I will. Do not talk to people like that. That's fine. Just let go outside. Hey, I don't know what happened, but do not talk to people like that. Talk to me? No, I didn't see that. I missed it. All I could hear was you. Okay, fine. Okay? I want to punch you out. Yeah, you want to step outside? I'll be happy to. But you think you can? You think you can? Go ahead. What is the answer? You think you can make it wrong? We get our money back.
And this is what's happening around the world. This is the Trump effect. Is that a lot of white people who've been harboring these ill feelings toward black people feel emboldened now because Donald Trump was tough talking. He was telling his supporters to grab, to throw out, to physically harm protesters, people that have a different opinion. And so now they feel emboldened to the point where they can talk crazy to anybody. It may happen to you within the next 4 years. I'm just telling you up front so you can prepare yourself beforehand. I voted for Trump. You lost. I don't give a damn who you voted for. So what? People think that really means something. Oh, I voted for Trump. Uh-huh. You're a damn fool. I got it. Okay, and what's wrong with you? Who cares who you voted for? But what it goes to show you is an undercurrent, an element in some of the people that voted for Donald Trump. I don't think that guy is emblematic of each and every, and even the generally speaking, all Trump supporters. Some of them voted for him because for them, making America great again means making America white again, having a white male in charge. All that anti-immigration stuff. Some of the subtly racist and not so subtly racist things that Donald Trump may or may not have said, to them, that's just the end of the age of political correctness. That's how they look at it. Happened at Starbucks. You're garbage. I voted for Trump. It's just interesting how people conflate these things. Like he really thought he was saying something, didn't he? I voted for Trump. And now let's see in 4 years if you're still running around talking about who you voted for. We don't give a damn who you voted for. So what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They really think they're hurting somebody. I voted for Trump. And it sounds like John in Black Lion. I didn't vote for anybody. And what exactly does that mean? All in their feelings. Craig writes, Trump has these Caucasian on that liquid courage. Rhonda, have a great weekend. Kiki writes, they are going to get their feelings hurt. Yeah, somebody's going to get hurt. And again, pay attention to what's happening here. Now, I did see a video of a student getting a can of whoop-ass open up on them because apparently they were a Trump supporter. I don't subscribe to that at all. I think that's dead wrong. Care who you voted for. At this point, we're in the same boat. He is the president-elect. We'll see what happens. A white teacher calls students broke-ass Negroes who get shot. This is a teacher. A teacher referred to students in this manner. That person does not have the disposition or the mentality or the temperament to be a teacher, in my opinion. There's some things you can do that can forfeit you. Like if you're a doctor and, you're performing surgery on somebody and you mistakenly leave a scalpel inside of them, you shouldn't be a doctor no more. You giving it up. I never trust you again. A teacher, happens to be white, was caught on camera berating a black student and telling a classroom full of black students that they were broke-ass niggas who will get shot. In the video, I'll play the audio for you in a second, give you a heads up because of the language. In the video, the teacher can be seen yelling at a student in a hoodie, ordering him out of the classroom saying, you just sit here and do nothing day after day after day. Now, that's a problem. Where is your mama and your father? I know Junior better never go to school and just sit there day after day acting up in the classroom because he'll have to deal with his dad. I'm not going for that. You're not embarrassing me going to school like that. Where's mom and dad at? Are there some issues, some emotional issues? Is there abuse? What's going on? Is he hungry? What's going on with this kid? Again, continuing her tirade, the teacher can be heard calling the students idiots and stupid. Then she says, you are going to be a bunch of broke niggas who'll get shot. What? It's the world we live in. I'm going to play this video for you. Here's the audio.
Get out of my class! Get out of my class! Get out of my class! Get out of my class, then! Yeah, I'd like to forget you! Get out of my class! Please, you're gonna sit here and do nothing day after day after day! Get out! Leave! Get out! Leave! Don't care! Freaking leave! You're getting zeros for doing nothing! I give you the work!
That'll settle them down, Teach. Thanks. Now, I'm not claiming that this woman is a Trump supporter because I don't have any evidence of that. And Miss D said it best. She snapped. She just snapped. I'll post a link to the video. You can check it out for yourself. I feel for her. You know, she probably wanted to be a teacher for all the right reasons. And she's dealing with a lot of children of, from parents that's not doing their job, period. If my daughter went to school and did that, she got a problem on her hands. I'm telling you. I wish she would. You know how black folks are. I wish she would go to school and do something like that. It's a wrap. All the creature comforts. And I keep telling her, this is our house. All this stuff is ours. You're just here because you're our child. This big screen TV, all these creature comforts. You like Wi-Fi? That's daddy's Wi-Fi. I don't have to give you that. All I have to do is put food in that belly and clothes on that back and make sure you go to school. That's it. Everything else is extra. You earn that. And when you don't earn it, it's mine again. All of it. You know, that bed, that's my bed you sleep in. All that nice furniture in your room, all those great things you get, that's mine. The extra stuff is because you earned it. But apparently, some parents are not doing that. I'm telling you, it's wilding out. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Good teachers, good educators, they go to school, they care about the kids. They truly care about the children. They want to help the children, they want to help you learn. And you're dealing with a whole bunch of damn baby kids. I'm keeping it real with you. Don't like it. That's what I do. I don't know what to tell you. She snapped. Now, she went too far. You know, she went too far. She never should have said that. She was super frustrated. Tracy writes, she is beyond frustrated. Cincy writes, Cincy Tigers writes, I had a teacher at Taft talk like this. We got a problem on our hands because now you're harboring some kind of racial animus. That's what I want to know. I want to know, are you a in the closet racist, or did you just stoop to this infantile level to try to reach them? Okay, I'm not going to say she's automatically racist. Having watched the video and heard the audio several times, she might have just snapped and said, oh, okay, you think something funny? But see, I tell the kids, I got a college degree. I told little Buddha that. You don't want to do your homework? Listen, you're doing your homework because I had to do it. The other day, we had some issues with her homework. She's like, Daddy, I'm sorry, I'll do it. She's supposed to do a homework assignment, didn't do it. I said, daughter. Daddy has college degrees. I did all of this. You're trying to do all of this. Mommy got college degrees. We good. You're trying to get this. This is for you. You're letting yourself down. You have to love yourself. You have to excel for you, just like I did. Just like I did. Don't get it twisted. Daddy's disappointed because you're not on top of your game. But when you don't do your homework, I don't get zeros and F's. You do. She's straight A student. But, you know, now it's the 6th grade and she's fatigued a little bit. She can see the end of her career, so to speak, her scholastic career, just particular school. Perhaps she's going to move on to Walnut Hills. She passed the Walnut Hills test. I'm very happy to say that. And she's excited. So she's kind of looking ahead. I know what's going on. It's about focus. But like I've told her, you got to focus. You got to focus. Damn, that teacher snapped. Now, that teacher needs support from the administrator. Well, first, she needs to sit down and maybe she needs to back away. Maybe the job is too big for her. Maybe she needs to go to a school where the kids are coming from, you know, families from different backgrounds. Okay, maybe she can be successful in that environment. Not all teachers can be successful in those kind of environments. Everybody's laughing. You hear him? You can hear in the background laughing, cutting up jokes. Somebody's rolling the video camera with his phone. You know he's not supposed to have his phone on. So, sometimes, teachers will take advantage. Kids will take advantage of teachers. They really have. They will take advantage of you. If they sense weakness, like, you smell that? Weakness. We got us one. We got us one. And they will go there with you. He said, yo are a bunch of broke arse nigwas who get shot. Well, I'm glad to see she's setting the bar so high. So glad to see that. Damn, this is where we live in. This is what's going on. I don't know if she's a Trump supporter or not. I'm not going to assume that she is. Because she didn't say, I voted for Donald Trump. Why do people think that means something? So what? So what? You voted for Donald Trump and what? Tracy writes, I only feel sorry for her because I used to teach. Tracy, right. And because I used to be in that environment, I understand it. I can see it. I think what she did was wrong. I never spoke to kids like that. Never had to. You know what I'm saying? Never had to. Here's the rules. You break the rules. The first time what I told you was going to happen and we'll move on. I was quick to call mom and dad. Quick. Because mom and dad who's working hate it. They hate to leave the job and go to work, to go to the school. I got to leave my job because you up here acting up. I was there. My mother used to go get straight just all the way there. I was scared for them, the teachers, to call my mom when she was on the job after the first or second time. It was a wrap, telling you. Let them call me off my job one more time, she used to say. Kashana writes, I went to a coffee shop this morning and a fella still had on his Trump sticker. He made eye contact and smiled, LOL. I wish an MFer would. Everyone isn't scared. Yeah, people think that means something. And it's like they just want to cause grief or try to get under the skin of people because there's really no substance behind it. If Donald Trump is successful, right, as the president, then we all benefit. And if he's not successful, then we all don't benefit. And like I told you, those who are wealthy are insulated from what happens in the White House in terms of his domestic policy. I mean, the more money you have, the more it really don't matter who the president is because your lifestyle is set. It's the working class people out here, the people who are getting by on government assistance, the people who are struggling to pay their bills. Those are the folks for whom it really matters. Billy writes, I just see a bunch of these Trump supporters with foul mouths getting their chins checked. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Key C writes, haha, my father was a school administrator. I could never act up. Tracy writes, congratulations, Buddha. Thank you very much. I will let her know that. Yeah, she was all nervous about it. Daddy, I don't know. I said, you know how well you did on the test. Come on now. I don't know. I was always an excellent test taker, so I'm trying to transfer that to my children, to my daughter at this point. It's about preparation and being cool, critically thinking. Sometimes you know the answer. Well, use the process of elimination. I'm not really a big fan of multiple choice, actually. I always thought that was a not efficient way of assessing what people actually know. So basically, you're going to give me the answer, and I just got to figure out which is not the answer. I never really thought that. Fill in the blank I always thought was much better, but it is what it is. It's a little bit more difficult for some folks. Man, she was so happy. She was so happy about it and relieved. And among her peer group, that's a big thing. You know, all the kids in the school are like, did you pass the Warner Hills test? I passed the Warner Hills test. You know he did. My daughter, my wife was all up. She was all nervous. I don't want her to be picked on. And I said to my wife the same thing I said to my daughter. And the same thing I'm going to say to my son. If you didn't pass, you didn't pass. I'm not going to be nervous because you didn't pass the test. You got all the skills. You got two college educated parents who are here to work with you. You got your own room. Your father's willing to help you at any point in time. You ain't got no excuses. We make sure you eating right the day before. We make sure you get to bed right the week before the test, the week during the test. You don't have no excuses. If there's something in terms of fundamentally you don't understand with the concepts that they're trying to teach you, then you need to speak up. If you don't speak up, whatever, forever hold your truth. It is what it is. You'll do better on the next one. Rub some dirt on the kid. You gotta make these kids tough out here. Everybody wants to make their kids soft. That's my wife. She's like, I'm just so afraid that she'll get picked on. Well, then, that's social anxiety is a good thing. It's a good thing. And hopefully she'll have so much anxiety about possibly being picked on or being one of the kids that didn't pass that she'll pass. That's what we did. Right? You went through it. And like I keep telling my daughter, you're going to be an adult much longer than you're going to be a child. Now, she can't see that. She's 11 years old. In her mind, she'll be a kid forever and ever. She got a Peter Pan complex, like all kids have. But if she lives long enough, she's going to be an adult 5, 6, 7 times longer than she's going to be a child. So I'm preparing her for adulthood and then the adult world. Like when you go to college, don't nobody give a damn if you passed or you failed. Your college professors aren't going to sit down and cry with you because you didn't pass the LSAT. No, you pass or you fail, period. And if you fail, now you know how to come back with the test, okay? You can live the fight another day. My wife thinks I'm too tough. Everybody's not like you, she says. Well, I don't know what to tell those other people. Pat writes, frustration is one thing. I would hope that teachers would be professional. Yeah, she lost it. You're all a bunch of broke nigwas who gonna get shot. Wow. Daryl writes, I remember my pops walked to the school and whooped my big brother's ass right in school for acting up. And let me say, I tried never to act up in school. Yeah, that's old school right there. That's old school. My mother told me that many times. I will come to the school building. But see, that's back when you could do that. If you go to school and whoop your kids now, the teachers might call it. The teachers who called you to the school may call 2-for-1 kids on you. That's the world we live in now. One of the kids is going to have a video camera and it's going to go viral. Then the police are going to knock on the door and all this other kind of nonsense. I mean, child abuse is alive and well, and I ain't with it. It makes my blood boil. But discipline your child is not child abuse. And I don't mean you're boxing with your kid. That's child abuse. That's child abuse. That is child abuse. Cincy Tigress writes, I had a teacher at Taft like this. I had a tough talking English teacher. Her name was, of all things, Mrs. Ware at Peter H. Clark Academy. She was a tough old bird, as they say. She was tough. And I challenged her a little bit, and then I learned otherwise, and I stopped. She was tough. She was real tough. But I loved her class, though. I learned a lot about literature. She was a reading teacher, I believe. I wonder if she's still alive. That was many years ago. I liked her. Even though she was tough, I liked her. It's funny how it works. When they give you tough love and it's just from a discipline standpoint, like I got to run my classroom, kids understand it because really kids crave discipline. They may say they don't like it and I've got hurt feelings, but they respect that somebody gives a damn enough about them to set some standards. Kids want standards. That's why I would imagine that your experience is not unlike my experience. If you think back to maybe your favorite teacher or teachers, I bet you one of them was one of those tough love teachers. That's how Mrs. Ware was for me. See, what else here? I need your Gilligan of the Week nominations, please. Who is your Gilligan of the Week? I've already given you several of mine. Number one is the man who followed his wife with a drone. Absolutely ridiculous. You don't follow your wife with a drone. If she's cheating, she's cheating. She'll tell you. The good Lord will let you find out when you're supposed to if you believe in those kind of things. Kelly writes, a great interview. Sandra just sounded the alarm. We have to wake up and face the inevitable. Thanks for the motivation. I'm glad. Thank you for that, Kelly. That's the spirit in which we had that conversation. And as you get ready to make those decisions, you heard from Sandra herself. She's been doing this for a long time. She's living it. This is her passion. And again, give me someone with passion about something any day over somebody that's just trying to make money. Because when they bring passion to it, they're going to bring everything to it. They're going to make sure it's successful. So if you need some consulting, if you need some help on an aging plan, what is that exactly? What should be the first step? If perhaps your parents, maybe you can see the horizon and perhaps your parents are going to move in with you one day. And you just want to talk through it with somebody. You just want to talk through it with somebody about what do I need to think of? Because I guarantee until you've been in a position, there are things you just don't know about being in that position. Sandra's been there many times before. And I'm happy to hear that via this platform that she's received many, many calls from folks who are listening. Don't be shy about it. She's not going to bite. She's a very nice woman. She will get back to you. And again, let me make sure I give you the number again. I'll make sure that if you want to reach out to her, that we can make it as easy as possible. It sounded like perhaps some people were trying to contact her while we were having a conversation. But here's Sandra's number, 861-2790. Again, 513 is the area code. And yeah, she's based in Cincinnati. But listen, a phone call, you can be anywhere in the world. I know we have listeners all over the country. So you can be anywhere in the world. These issues, okay, are universal. The issues that are affecting aging Americans, they cross over state boundaries. You might be in Texas. We got a lot of folks who listen to Texas. You might be in California. You might be in Atlanta. Okay, you might be in Michigan. You know, these are some of the hot spots for the Nathan Ivey Show. And perhaps either you are starting to age or someone, your mom and dad are, and you just want to talk with somebody about it. Again, give Sandra a call, 861-2790. Let her know you heard about it on the Nathan Ivey Show, okay? Let her know that. And just walk through it. Very interesting. And these are the things that people don't think about until it's too late. They don't think. You hear about will. Like if you've got a mother or a father and they're a little older, do you know where their papers are? If they died tomorrow, do you know where the important papers are? Do you know where their policy papers are? Do you know where anything is? I mean, that could be the first step, helping to organize the papers and put them in a place where the family can easily put their hands on. I mean, these are real life issues that each and every one of us is going to have to deal with. I don't care who you are. I don't care how young you are. If you live old enough, you're going to have to deal with these issues. So to me, Sandra's out there ahead of the curve. And I was very happy to partner with her. Demi writes, what's Sandra's number again? Let me find it for you here. I just moved away from it. 861, only back up, 513-861-2790. Cincy Tigers writes, tough love is one thing. Calling kids idiots and morons is discouraging. It is. Unless you're acting like an idiot or a moron. I mean, if you're acting moronic, well, then you're acting moronic, period. Whether you're a student or teacher or whoever you are. I thought that where she really went too far was, the name calling was a bit too far. It was. But I was less concerned about the name calling, idiot, moron than I was when she started using the N-word and saying that people were going to get shot. And just reading the body language and kind of looking at the video, I think that she cares. I know that may sound strange. I think she's one of those white teachers who's working in a predominantly black school that cares. And she's just overwhelmed and frustrated because she knows what they got to deal with if they don't get this education. And they're inside the classroom acting like idiots and morons. And she just snapped. She lost it. Now, she's going to have to be reprimanded for that because it was caught on video. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I will follow that story to its logical conclusion. Who are your Gilligans of the week? I'm calling out not just a man who decided to follow his wife with a drone because that's some Gilligan-ish behavior, but also all these people running around trying to compare the first 100 days, right, of the Trump administration to what happened with Obama. And what happened with Obama was far worse. Far worse. I mean, I'm hearing Democrats saying that they are willing to at least give Donald Trump a chance. The Republicans said that they were trying to make him a one-term president. That means that no matter what you do, we're here to stop you. He was branded a liberal. He was branded a socialist. I mean, it's amazing all these words that do nothing but divide us. Instead of, hey, let's wait and see what he does. Let's wait and see. But now we want to wait and see when it comes to Donald Trump. Oh, boy. We will see. Cincy Tigers writes, she's been fired. Huh? Well, I mean, yeah, I can't be too upset about it. I mean, when you say those kind of things in a public space, yeah. Now, the thing is that they may bring another teacher in who doesn't care as much. Carolyn writes, boom, 18 years, touch him up. 18 years.
Just
Just sit right back and you'll hear. Gilligan-ish behavior, guys. Gilligan-ish behavior. 1, never follow your wifey with a drone. 2, if you follow your wifey with a drone and you find out she's cheating on you or dating some dude, you never go on the internet with it. 3, if you find out that your wifey is cheating on you with a drone, you never tell her. You never tell her unless it's court proceedings. And you're talking about something that's actually substantial, like who's going to get custody and how much alimony. If the difference between paying her alimony and no alimony is revealing that tape, damn it, you reveal that tape. And that's the only way you reveal it. 18 years. Jesse writes, Kanye West for saying he didn't vote, but if he did, he would have voted for Trump. You're right about that, Jesse. More so for not voting. I mean, listen, if you want to vote for Donald Trump, vote for Donald Trump as long as you've got credible reasons. But my issue is, here you are, you've got this huge platform, and you're not voting? It is the most unintelligent thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It makes no sense. Even if you say you don't want to vote in the national election, presidential election, you cannot run away from the fact that voting where you live makes a damn difference. It makes a difference. It has an impact. Speaking of voting, I'm reading that Aftab Pourval, hey, he might be looking to his future. And the future may be running for Ohio Attorney General. That's what I'm reading. It's being revealed by the good folks over at Cincinnati.com, the Cincinnati Inquirer. Now, how about that? Apparently, he's already purchased a couple of domain names, Aftab for Ohio. So the speculation is that he may run for Attorney General. And after meeting Aftab Pourval and seeing him in action, because I moderated a debate in which he was one of the participants, he and Tracy Winkler. Damn, Tracy, what now? You lost that race. You lost it. I mean, you just gave it to Aftab. All you had to do was innovate. But she rested on her laurels because I'm a Winkler. I'm a Republican in Hamilton County. And instead of innovating that office, she opened up the door for a slick challenger. And that's who Aftab Pourval was. And that damn duck. And it worked for him. It worked for him. But after meeting Aftab, game recognizes game. He is a highly motivated individual. I do not know Aftab Pourval at all. Only met him one time. He is a highly motivated individual, and highly motivated individuals they're looking 2 or 3 steps ahead. So I'm not surprised to read that perhaps he's looking at another political position. So he may be the clerk of court for 2 years, and then 4 years from now, 5 years from now, boom, run for Ohio State Ohio Attorney General. And if he's successful, and I believe he's going to do exactly what he said he was going to do because he has to. It was a campaign promise. Within the next couple of years, Aftab Pourval is going to make it possible so that you don't have to go downtown to the Hamilton County Courthouse to access court records. Now, once he delivers on that promise, should I say, boom, he delivered for the voters. You can't disagree with anything. Hey, he did what he said he was going to do. And after meeting the man, I have no reason to believe he's going to do anything other than that. And it sets him up for a larger role. I'm telling you, there is some, I've been telling you for years, there is some smart, young, aggressive, highly motivated political talent in this city, in this county. A Cincinnati Zoo gorilla barrier wasn't in compliance. The barrier separating the primates and the humans inside the Cincinnati Zoo. This is what the report says. It was just fine up until the moment that a child fell into the gorilla exhibit back on May 28th. And that's May 28th. And that's the takeaway of a federal report that concluded that the zoo's barrier was not in compliance with standards for housing primates when a 3-year-old boy made international news by scaling a fence and falling 15 feet into a moat. Now, I'm a little bit upset about this story. I really am. Because, and I know a lot of people had, sympathy for Harambe. But where's the sympathy for that child? That child could have injured himself seriously. 15 feet, you can die. That child could have fell 15 feet and had a traumatic brain injury for the rest of his life and had the effects for the rest of his life. There's no talk about that. The only concern is over whether the Cincinnati Zoo is going to have any liability or not. And I don't know about you, but I didn't need a federal report to tell me that the structure wasn't stable. We've got certifiable evidence that it's not stable enough because a child, a 3-year-old, was able to get inside the gorilla pen, period. That tells you everything you need to know. There should be no barriers between animals at the zoo and humans going to the zoo in which a 3-year-old can get inside. It should not be physically possible. And if it is, the zoo is to blame, period. Period. A report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture issued a critical citation because the barrier failed and caused an animal to be harmed. Wait a minute. What about the child that could have been harmed? I mean, even if there wasn't a gorilla in the particular exhibit, a child could have fell into the exhibit and injured themselves. That's the real issue. I know everybody loves Harambe. He got 10,000 votes for president. But what about that 3-year-old boy? See, the 3-year-old boy has been forgotten. And maybe it's because it's a little black boy with a black mother. And there was literally some conversation about whether the mother was going to be charged, to the point where Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters had to weigh in on it. It's ridiculous. The real question is, to what level of culpability, of responsibility is the Cincinnati Zoo? Look, when I take my son, he's 2 years old, so he's not even 3 yet. When I take him to the zoo, okay, I'm doing that with the unwritten contract that the Cincinnati Zoo has secured all the barriers so that my child can't crawl in, right? It's amazing. But we love the zoo more than we care about the people that go to the zoo. You know, I keeps it real with you, man. That's just some flows here. I like going to the zoo. They do great work. I mean, they are holding the animals in captivity. They are. Let's keep it what it is. And I think part of the part of the question that nobody really wanted to answer, except for yours truly, because I raise these issues even on commercial radio, is that commercial terrestrial radio, is that we need to have a conversation about whether we should even have zoos. Because when you start taking animals from their national habitat and then keeping them in captivity, these kind of interactions are bound to happen. It's bound to happen. Just like with SeaWorld, when you start taking, the animals, the sea creatures, and putting them in captive spaces, the fact that some of them die in captivity or that their fins start to fall over, it's bound to happen. They're not in their natural habitat. And I know PETA tried to raise that issue, but nobody listens to PETA anymore. The zoo so far doesn't face fines or penalties, but an investigation is still ongoing. And there's no conversation about whether that mother is going to sue the Cincinnati Zoo. Because to me, she got a beef. She got a legitimate beef. I don't care what her child tries to children climb fences. That's what kids do. If you take 3 years old and you put them in a backyard and there's fences out there and there's trees, they're going to try to climb them. That's what they do. The Cincinnati Zoo should have anticipated that to make sure that even if a 3-year-old wanted to climb an enclosure or climb a fence, they still can't get into the primate exhibit. That's their fault. But it's getting turned around as if it wasn't an issue until the kids showed it was an issue. That's ridiculous. That's like you go to your favorite store and there's a trap door that leads to a basement. And unbeknownst to you, there was a maintenance guy down there and he left the trap door open and you fall into the trap door. That's their fault. That's their fault. Gail Myers, the spokeswoman for the family of the boy who entered the enclosure, said that the family has never wanted to pursue legal action against the zoo. Quote, "These findings do not change anything for us. We are thankful to the Lord that our child is safe and well," the family said in a statement on Thursday. "It was a tragic accident. We very much appreciate the quick actions by the Cincinnati Zoo staff and mourn with them the loss of Harambe." Now think about that. The reason why they're backing away from that is because there was people in the public Now, from what we know, the mother works with children. There were people in the public that found out the mother's name, found out where she worked, and were sending her emails. They were trying to close the doors of her business because they were so upset about a gorilla. Think about that. When part of the conversation should have been, why is it even possible for a 3-year-old to enter the gorilla exhibit? But the family is just so happy that their child is alive, they want to back away from it. If they would have sued the Cincinnati Zoo, I would have had no problem with it. None whatsoever. Because when you hit them in the pockets, that's when people start to pay attention. They'll make sure you're never able to get inside the zoo exhibit or one of those exhibits ever. Ever. Craig writes, now in the minds of some people, if you're speaking out against a zoo and a monkey, that makes us unpatriotic. Sad America wanted to lock up the mom. Where's the daddy at? But the irony of it all, in Florida, a month later, a father took his 2-year-old onto a beach that clearly said alligators keep out. Not one cry for the media, white media. There was sympathy for them. America is sick. He's a great point, man. He's conflating these two things, but he's making a great point. That did happen. Parents took their kids down to, Disney World or some kind of one of their resorts. And there was signage up that said that, I don't know if it was signage up that said there was an alligator in the room there, or they didn't think that alligator was there. Either way, I don't let my kids play in strange bodies of water. Either way. And I remember, many years ago, we went up to my in-laws' house up in Cleveland. At that particular time, my mother-in-law had a place on the lake. A couple doors down from the then NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers coach, or he lived on the same block or something like that, around the corner. They showed me the house, but it was a beautiful place. And you walk through the backyard, beautiful, and walk straight down onto the beach, and you could see the lake there. And I remember we were partying in the water. Little Buddha was so young then, she doesn't even remember. But she was right next to me. If something's grabbing her, it's grabbing me too. Take me instead of her. Who's letting their kids play in strange bodies of water in Florida? That was ridiculous right there. It really was. Renee writes, Sandra does great work with the elderly and has a wealth of information. Love her. Absolutely. People who know her, she has a great reputation. Tanika writes, so sad. The parents need to sue the zoo. That's their right. I mean, if they're not going to zoo, okay. If they do, okay. Renee writes, Ed Carolyn, eye candy and intelligent. Yes, ma'am. Clue Magic writes, no compassion for a black child equals racism. Period. Dot. Gwenda writes, Nathan, did you see the Irish government on Twitter report that Trump was an embarrassment to the country and some other choice words? Ireland has thousands of immigrants to the U.S., and they are afraid of this man. We hear about Muslims and Hispanics, but there are here Jamaicans, Haitians, and Africans that can be deported under Trump. Yeah. Well, Trump he was going to put up like some kind of golf course and a resort, with the Trump name on it in Ireland. He went to Ireland and made all these promises, bought the land. Matter of fact, it's up, actually. He promised thousands of jobs. He was going to remake the region, and it never really turned out that way. So there are some people in Ireland that straight up despise Donald Trump. And I learned all about it because I was watching Real Sports on HBO with Brian Gumbel. They do great work. And they did like a 15-minute segment on it. I mean, I was unaware of it until then. But it was great stuff. It really was. They do great work over there. Carolyn writes, hashtag Poorval, hashtag eye candy. Yeah. He's got a very slick look about him. He does. Yes, he does. And that helped him win. Because standing side by side with Tracy Winkler, let's just say he stood out. We'll put it that way. Let's put it that way. Let's just put it that way. And I'm sure his looks helped him as well. Dale writes, that's because Obama called out Kanye some years back and called him an idiot. So he's speaking back at Jesse. He did, and I thought that Obama was wrong to call Kanye West an idiot. He was wrong to call him an idiot. He's an idiot. No, he's not an idiot. He's an iconoclast. He challenges conventional wisdom and conventional institutions, but that's not the same as him being not able to critically think. I thought he was out of bounds with that one. Sandra, yeah, she does great work. Great work. Appreciate her. Absolutely. I will post a link in today's podcast that links back to Sandra's website, blackage.org. If you're interested, you can use the link to go straight back to her page. And again, we'll all be in that position where hopefully, each and every one of us can age gracefully. We can age well. But it really starts now. It starts in your 30s. It starts in your 40s. It starts in your 50s. So working out is more than just vanity. It's more than just looking good at the social engagement. It's about maintaining your body so you can get older. Cincy Tigers writes, right, and since she hadn't been in the bathroom smoking crack, the mother was in charge. Dieters. Yeah, people were like, where was the mother at? She must have been smoking crack in the bathroom. That's ridiculous. Clue Magic writes, didn't Kanye say he was running in 2020? LMAO, yeah. So you're going to run for president for elective office, but you don't vote. Absolutely ridiculous. I want to say again to you that the Nathan Ivey Show is sponsored by UC Health. UC Health, Cincinnati's only academic health system. And a shout out to Team NI. Shout out to the friends that love the Nathan Ivey Show. A shout out to the good folks at Superlative Media that produce the Nathan Ivey Show. They do great work. And I may have more to share with you next week. I've been interacting with black business owners here in the city of Cincinnati who are interested in using this platform to get the word out about what they do. All right, they see the power of it, and they see the future in it. And I appreciate them. Hopefully Monday, Tuesday, I can tell you more about that. Have a great weekend. All right, you want to connect with me? Find me on Facebook. The official Facebook page is The Nathan Ivey Show. So take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. Remember this. Respect the architect. Never test the Elohim. And I'm out.